Borthakur IAS Academy, an endeavor of excellence.
Borthakur IAS Academy.
Welcome to Borthakur IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and MPSC preparations. I'm your friend Atri, and today I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365 dated 27th of July 2021. This is your one-stop solution for any news and updates related to civil services examination, and along with that it is also going to be helpful for any other Assam state government services. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram. So the first news of today is about the Garib Nawaz Employment Scheme. It was launched by the Ministry of Minority Affairs in the year 2017, and Maulana Azad Education Foundation, which is an autonomous body under the aegis of Ministry of Minority Affairs, they implement this particular scheme. Recently, the Union Minister for Minority Affairs replied in the Parliament that a total number of 371 training centres were opened under this scheme across the country. The main aim of the scheme is to provide short-term job-oriented skill development courses to the minorities' youth in order to enable them for skill-based employment. Also, the scheme is implemented as per common norms of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship through the empaneled program implementation agencies. The monthly stipend for maximum of 3 months and post-placement support for maximum of 2 months after getting employment are being paid to the beneficiaries directly into their account. The term minority is not defined in our Indian constitution, but our constitution recognizes only religious and linguistic minorities. 6 minority communities are notified by the government in our country, which includes Jain, Parsi, Buddhist, Christian, Sikh and Muslim. Coming to the constitutional provisions, Article 29 provides that any section of the citizens residing in any part of our country having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same, and it grants protection to both religious minorities as well as linguistic minorities. And under Article 30, all minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. The protection under Article 30 is only confined to the minorities and it does not extend to any other section of citizens. Then there are other schemes for minority communities also, which includes the Prime Minister's 15-point program, Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, Sikho aur Kamao. We have the Garib Nawaz Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Nai Manzil, Nai Roshni, etc. Nai Manzil is for formal skilling of school dropouts, and Nai Roshni is for the development of leadership qualities among the women population of the minority communities. The next news is about exercise Cutlass Express. Indian naval ship Talwar participated in this multinational training exercise, which is being conducted along the east coast of Africa. This exercise is an annual maritime exercise which is conducted in order to promote regional maritime security in East Africa and West Indian Ocean. The 2021 edition of this exercise involves participation of 12 Eastern African countries, the United States, United Kingdom, India and various international organizations. These international organizations includes the International Maritime Organization, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, then we have Interpol, European Union Naval Force and Critical Maritime Routes Indian Ocean. It is designed to assess and improve the combined maritime law enforcement capacity. Also, it focuses on promoting national and regional security and increasing interoperability of between the regional navies. India's Information Fusion Center and Indian Ocean region is also participating in this exercise. The Western Indian Ocean is the point where Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea meet, and it connects North America, Europe and Asia. Because of that, it is seen as a place of strategic global importance. The Western Indian Ocean region, it comprises of 10 countries, and its rich natural resource profile has pushed global players to view the region with increasing interest in the recent years. Now let us take a look at the nature of inter-regional cooperation in this particular region, that is the West Indian Ocean region. First is the program to promote regional maritime security. This program was adopted in the year 2010 in Mauritius and is jointly run by the European Union and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Indian Ocean Commission is also a part of it, and here the primary objective is to strengthen the maritime security capacity of Eastern and Southern Africa along with the West Indian Ocean region in order to implement the regional strategy and action plan against piracy. Secondly, there is the Djibouti Code of Conduct. It provides a framework for capacity building in the region along with the Gulf of Aden in order to counter the threat of piracy. This particular code was signed in the year 2009. Then we have the Indian Ocean Commission and Indian Ocean Rim Association. Indian Ocean Commission is an intergovernmental organization which was founded in the year 1982, and it comprises of 5 small island states in the Western Indian Ocean region. These are the Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion, a French department, and Seychelles. India has been accepted as an observer of the Indian Ocean Commission, and then the Indian Ocean Rim Association, which was established in 1997, and this is a regional forum which seeks to build and expand understanding and mutually beneficial cooperation through a consensus-based, evolutionary and non-intrusive approach. The next news is about new facilities under Strategic Petroleum Reserves. Under this program, the government has given approval for establishing 2 additional facilities, and these 2 will be commercial cum strategic ones with a total storage capacity of 6.5 million metric tons. They will be underground storages at Chandikhol, Orissa and Padu, Karnataka, which will be built in public-private partnership mode under the phase 2 of the SPR program. Under phase 1 of this program, Government of India established petroleum storage facilities with total capacity of 5.33 million metric tons. These are located at 3 different locations, which are Visakhapatnam at Andhra Pradesh, Mangaluru, Karnataka and Padu, Karnataka. The petroleum reserves established under phase 1 are strategic in nature, and the crude oil which is stored in these reserves will be used during an oil shortage event as and when declared by the Government of India. The strategic petroleum reserves are huge stockpiles of crude oil to deal with any crude oil related crisis like the risk of supply disruptions from natural disasters, war or any other such calamities. According to the Agreement on an International Energy Program, each International Energy Agency country has an obligation to hold emergency oil stocks equivalent to at least 90 days of net oil imports. India became an associate or a member of the International Energy Agency in the year 2017, and this concept of dedicated strategic reserves was first mooted in the year 1973 by the United States after the OPEC oil crisis. Underground storage is by far the most economic method of storing petroleum products because the underground facility rules out requirement of large swatches of land. It ensures less evaporation, and it is also easy to discharge crude into the ships from underground areas. The construction of strategic crude oil storage facilities in India is being managed by the ISPRL, that is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited. First, then if we see the need for such strategic petroleum reserves, first is to build capacity, sufficient capacity. The current capacity of petroleum reserves is not sufficient to tackle any unpredicted event that occurs in the international crude market. 86% of our country is dependent on oil, with nearly 5 million barrels of oil consumption per day. And the second need is for energy security. Because the fluctuation in price of crude oil in international market, it leads to a dire need for India to make petroleum reserves in order to ensure country's energy security and avoid any monetary loss. Moreover, India should distribute its oil contracts in several countries so as to avoid the monopoly of any one region, because currently India is importing most of its oil from the Gulf region, and also oil is the central source of energy which is limited. Therefore, alternative sources needs to be looked upon. The next news is related to Immigration Bill 2021. The Ministry of External Affairs invited public inputs to the Immigration Bill of 21, which presents a long overdue opportunity to reform the recruitment process for nationals seeking employment abroad. This bill intends to replace the Immigration Act of 1983, and it envisages comprehensive immigration management, institutes regulatory mechanisms governing overseas employment of the Indian nationals, and also establishes a framework for protection and promotion of the welfare of immigrants. This bill proposes a three-tier institutional framework. It launches a new immigration policy division, which will be referred to as the Central Immigration Management Authority. Next, it proposes a Bureau of Immigration Policy and Planning and a Bureau of Immigration Administration, which shall handle day-to-day operational matters and oversee the welfare of immigrants. Thirdly, it proposes nodal agencies under a Chief Immigration Officer in order to ensure the welfare and protection of the immigrants. The proposed legislation will also maintain registration of the human resources agencies, validity and renewal, and the cancellation of a certificate. Besides, authorities will also be empowered to have certain power of the civil court. This bill is important because the Immigration Act of 1983, enacted in the specific context of large-scale immigration of the Gulf, it falls short in addressing the wide geo-economic, geopolitical, and geostrategic impact that immigration has today. Moreover, for years, independent investigations into the migrant worker conditions have underlined some serious exploitative practices like the large recruitment charges, contract substitution, retention of passports, non-payment of or underpayment of wages, poor living conditions, etc. However, there are certain issues related to this new bill. This bill is criticized to be lacking a human rights framework aimed at securing the rights of migrants and their families, and also this bill is not in sync with the international standards. The bill permits manpower agencies to charge workers service fees and even allows agents to set their own limits. India needs to formulate migration-centric policies, strategies, and institutional mechanisms in order to ensure inclusive growth and development and reduction in distress-induced migration. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it will be helpful. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another segment of Current Affairs 365 only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and MPSC preparations. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS একাডেমি প্ৰস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy